Hey everyone, it's me, Carpengizmat. So, a little over a month ago I released a video talking about one of my favourite little nuggets of tabletop gaming goodness. This is Lasers and Feelings, a one-page RPG which has inspired countless hacks and spin-off games thanks to its friendly presentation and simple but effective rule set. At the end of that video I set my viewers a special challenge to make their own hack of Lasers and Feelings based on a franchise or genre they liked and send it to me. So that's what this video is. We're going to be going through and showcasing all the funny little RPGs that my audience have sent in. I thought I'd do this video kind of like an award show. You know how when they do the Oscars, they do all those categories like Best Animation, Best Special Effects and all that? Well, I'm going to be doing something like that, except I'll be giving each participant a unique award for something that I particularly liked about their entry. That way, everyone's a winner. Wait, if this is an award show, does that mean I need formal dress? Hold on, 1 second. Let's see, what have we got here? Perfect. So, without further ado, let's take a look at these entries and see what awards they've won. First up, we have Oddities and Normalcies by Next to a Tree. It looks like this hack is inspired by paranormal mystery media like Welcome to Night Vale and Camp Here and There. This game is focused around a town called Lonesville, and anything that stays in Lonesville too long starts to develop strange quirks they call oddities. During character creation, you get to make up an oddity for your character to have, and I really like the freedom that you get with this. It's not just a list of predefined things, you get to make it up completely, and you're also encouraged to link it with your character's personality. They've also included something I rather like, it's called the Chaos Table. Basically, the GM can roll on this table and get some random keywords to inspire them. Really feeds into the sort of strange, unpredictable vibe that this game seems to be going for. In fact, I have a D&D session tomorrow that I haven't planned for at all. Let's put the Chaos Table to the test and see if it can help me out. Crystal Laser Fish. Well, the dice have spoken. Anyway, Oddities and Normalcies wins the award for Funny Little Doodles. These ones. I like them a lot. I just think they're neat. Next up we have With Calm and Fury by Kendall Wlubel, a Cold War era mecha game that puts me in mind of video games like Iron Harvest or the board game Scythe. It seems to me like this game was going for a bit of a darker, grittier feel. It implements a combat system and encourages players to draw up some kind of tactical map that they can wage a campaign of war over. Now I love maps, so this is already a thumbs up for me, and I also think it does a pretty good job at implementing a combat system without disturbing the simplicity of the original game. Your mech basically has a load of different components, and as you suffer damage in a fight, those components degrade in their effectiveness. Personally, I think it would be super cool to see some kind of character sheet for this game, where you can track the damage that your mech has taken. I think this one's for people who like their RPGs with a bit more crunch to them. It's no Pathfinder, but it does add more structure to a very loosely structured game. So, naturally, With Calm and Fury wins the award for Cool Combat System. I mean, it was also the only one with a combat system, but I thought it was good, so that's what it gets its award for. Alright, our next entry is Unearthly Roads by MagosArlob. This one is a Lovecraftian road trip game? Okay, didn't see that one coming. From reading the introductory text, it looks like the players are trapped in an endless dimension of roads called the Low Arterial, and have to grapple with all sorts of strange creatures and phenomena to survive. Alright, well I have to admit my interest is piqued. Your stats in this game are called Mind and Meat, which I think is kind of funny. It puts a smile on my face to imagine someone at my table saying with a straight face, yes, I'd like to make a meat check. I also like that this game includes some items that your players can bring along with them on their quest. I think beyond its monsters, one of the biggest staples of cosmic horror is weird, incomprehensible alien artifacts, so sprinkling some of them in was a good call in my opinion. Each of them come with some pretty interesting mechanics too, like buffing your skill checks, allowing you to cancel out penalties imposed by a failed roll, or even temporarily changing your number. It adds an extra layer of depth to the game, but it still feels like a very natural continuation of the template set out by Lasers and Feelings. So, Unearthly Roads wins the award for really weirdly intriguing. Like I said, it grabbed my attention, and that's not an easy task. My attention span is famously, hey look, a squirrel! Our next entry is Ice and Steel by Rook, a Frostpunk style game inspired by, well, Frostpunk I should imagine. This looks like a kind of post-apocalyptic setting where the world is ravaged by a harsh, never-ending winter, and the last remnants of humanity shelter in the warmth of giant power core reactor furnace things. Right off the bat, sounds like a very cool setting. No pun intended. It does a good job of emulating the style of Lasers and Feelings, and I can tell that a lot of work went into making it look fancy. Ice and Steel also sprinkles in a couple of subtle but interesting additions. First off, you get some extra starting equipment based on the number you picked, so your character's number does a little bit more to impact how they play. Also, helping yields a 1d4 bonus instead of a 1d6 bonus, meaning that it's easier to help out with steel rolls than ice rolls. And according to the character creation guide, characters who favour steel over ice are meant to value kinship and teamwork, so really it does make a lot of sense. Ice and Steel wins the award for really developed setting. Okay, be honest with me now. Is this from a project of yours? Have you written about this setting before? Are these your OCs?
Believe me, I know the signs.
And our final entry of the evening is The Fast and the Furious by SebTan. I mean, take a guess as to what this one was inspired by. Now, I'll be honest, I don't really understand any of the specific references made in this game. The last time I watched a Fast and Furious movie was like 7 years ago, and it was the 8th movie in the series, so I had absolutely no context for what was happening. I don't really know why I watched it, but nevertheless this game seems to follow quite closely to the original spirit of Lasers and Feelings in that it adapts a specific property instead of a whole genre, and I think it does a good job of it. I reckon it nails the car-centric nature of the Fast and the Furious franchise, and I can really see players having a lot of fun designing their own personal cars to suit their characters. I also had a good chuckle at the rule of car, which says that the DM should encourage the action and problem solving to involve cars wherever possible, even when it doesn't make much sense. I have to admit that I probably wouldn't be able to play it without making a Dominic Toretto family joke every 3 seconds, but, well, maybe that's more of a problem with me than anything else. So, The Fast and the Furious wins the award for Fun Parody Game. I'm sure Fast and Furious fans will have a good time with this game, and even if you're not one, I'm sure being able to drive around and watch things blow up will be pretty entertaining. So, those are the entries in their respective trophies, and I want to give a massive thanks to everyone who participated. However, we still have one more entry to go over. I did mention that I'd be participating in the challenge too, and participate I did. This is Machines and Magic, a Lasers and Feelings hack inspired by science fantasy. It sees the players navigating a world of floating islands and battling against its perils. Magic and technology rule hand in hand in this setting, and that's reflected in the stat mechanic. On one end of the spectrum you have machines, which represents everything scientific and rational, and on the other end you have magic, which represents emotion and instinct. I didn't add that many special mechanics on because I wanted to keep it nice and simple, and because I was already struggling for space, but one thing I did add was these: roles, talents and flaws. Your character has one of each and you can either choose them or roll for them. Your role and your talent will give you a +1 die when they apply to the roll, while your flaw will give you a -1 die penalty if it affects the roll. This is a mechanic that I sort of borrowed from Badass Anthropomorphic Battle Beasts, another Lasers and Feelings hack made by a creator called Shanedroid. I thought it was neat, but I wanted to put my own spin on it and adapt it for my setting. So I did, and I have to say I am pretty impressed in myself that I managed to fit all this content onto just one page. Okay, I kind of cheated, it's actually a B4 page, which is a bit bigger than A4. But hey, those tables were really hard to fit onto the page, okay? Oh, and I also made a little character sheet. It has space for all your key information, as well as a little box for drawing a picture of your character. I feel like it's a bit self-aggrandizing to give myself a trophy for entering into my own challenge. So anyway, Machines and Magic wins best overall. I'm joking, of course. This challenge isn't about winning. It's just about doing something creative and having a bit of fun. And once again, I'd like to say a huge thank you to everyone who participated. It genuinely made me really happy to see the people from my community sharing their ideas and producing some really cool stuff. It's actually bolstered my confidence quite a bit, and I hope that if I do more of these creative challenges in the future where I get my audience involved, then even more of you will feel inspired to join in. Plus, it would have been kind of sad if I made that whole announcement and call to action and everything and then just nobody did it. Anyway, if you did participate in this challenge, I totally encourage you to publish your hack on your platform of choice. I'm going to be putting Machines and Magic up on my itch.io page, so swing by there if you want to give it a try. Oh, and while you're on my itch page, why not have a poke around at my other projects? I have plenty of other things up there that might be of interest to a discerning tabletop fan. And that's pretty much the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to drop me a like and maybe subscribe too. It's a good fun time, especially now that I've started actually uploading consistently. So if you like my content, there'll be much more where this came from. I also have a Discord if you want to hang out there. But yeah, until next time, thanks to all the participants and thanks to you for watching. I'll catch you later. Bye!